The following is a paid program. The views and opinions expressed are those of the sponsor and do not necessarily reflect the views of Radio 1, WTLC AM 1310 The Light, and its management.
Welcome to the Home and Finance Show on AM 1310 The Light. Now it's time to get straight talk about financing a home and insider information about buying a home from the experts. And here they are, your hosts, Janice Bradley and Diana Rice-Wilkerson.
And good afternoon to you. Welcome to the Home and Finance Show on such a beautiful afternoon. We are your host. I'm Janice Bradley, broker-owner of JB Real Estate Consultants, and with me, my co-host,
Diana Rice-Wilkerson, loan originator with Fairway Mortgage.
Home and Finance is designed to educate our listeners regarding the process of purchasing, building, selling, or refinancing a home. As you know, we try to provide straight talk about what's involved in each of these situations. Given that home ownership is a cornerstone to America's promise, we believe that everyone who desires to own a home deserves access to the best price, highest quality products in the marketplace for which they can afford. That said, if you are in the market to refinance, buy, build, or sell a home, or if you're presently in a home that you're leasing and you're ready to buy, and you've not yet chosen a realtor or a lender to represent you, Diana and I would be honored and blessed if you would consider us. You may reach Diana, and Diana, your number?
My number is 317-402-5555.
And you can reach me, Janice, I'm the real estate home consultant, at 317-590-7348. Our radio show is accessible by way of telephone. You can call us while we're sharing information with you. You can give us a call, 317-239-1310, or Facebook, website, or Twitter. Please go to our website at homeandfinanceshow.com. That's homeandfinanceshow.com. We have a team of experts that are updating information frequently. Now on with the show. How's it going, Diana?
It is awesome. This is such a beautiful day.
It is.
But it's also great to be in the studio today and to connect with our listening audience. This week has been pretty fast-paced. I cannot believe it's Saturday. Maybe that's because of the holiday, huh?
Yeah.
I hope
right
everyone had a great Independence Day.
Yeah, we're going to plan it differently next time. We know it's right smack in the middle. I think everybody tries to stretch it out as much as possible. I know my daughter usually does the cooking, and she wasn't going to do anything, and so we just kept calling her phone, saying, hey, this is what you do. You got to eat. So
forced her.
She forced her. I called her next day, what you doing when I'm on my way home from the store? So she said between 3 and 7 is like a matinee. You're in at 3, you're gone
and
at
you're
7.
out at 7. I don't blame her. Smart.
She is. But the week is kind of maybe slowed down just a little bit. And I think that's because of people being on vacations and this type of thing. And we do understand that. But don't think that market isn't still hot.
Flaming.
Don't forget, give us a call at 317-239-1310 if you've got any questions or concern. We're going to kind of do some different things today, talking about the process of a purchase agreement, of buying a home, just something that, has been deep on Diana and I's hearts about trying to make sure that everybody's on the same page, because what we want you to understand and know that we are a team. So everyone needs to be on the same page. With the market, and I will say the market, and I'll say the climate being as different as it is than we've seen in a long time, we realize that home purchasing is so stressful. Mm-hmm. It's exciting, but it is stressful. You've got a lot of raw emotions involved, and we understand that. So I think the more that you, Diana always says, the more you know, the more you do.
You do better when you know better.
Well, see, I never have it. There is not one quote I could ever get right. Ever. Well, Diana, share us a little bit about rates. Are we still doing well?
Rates are inching up just a titch. Nothing to really be alarmed over. It's just that we always really want to talk to our potential home buyers, especially who are trying to wait for that exact moment, to buy. And sometimes when they're doing that, there are other things that are changing in the marketplace that work to your disadvantage, which might be rates, which could be price. Now there's such short supply. So again, while rates might be inching up a titch at this point, nothing to be alarmed about. However, that said, those of you who are interested in buying a home, there's no better place or no better time than now. Certainly no better time to check in and just see where you stand. Even if your plan is to buy in 18 or 19 or 20, it doesn't matter. You want to know that you're on the right track, and you also want to be able to be guided through that process. So if there's something that you need to do, say to tighten up your credit, maybe to document your income, to document your assets so that you're better prepared when the time comes, there's no better time than now to do that. So if you would like me to help you with that process, my website is www.loanswithdiana.com, www.loanswithdiana, and that's DIANA.com. I will be happy to look at your application, get you scheduled for a telephone appointment, and we can kind of go over things so that you'll know how to prepare going forward.
Joyce, thank you for calling. How are you this afternoon?
Good, thank you very much.
Go ahead with your question or comment.
Okay. We have an opportunity to purchase a home that is right next door to ours. Both of the residents that were living in, the couple that was living in, that residence is now deceased. It seems that the home went through probate, I guess. It's been sitting, I'm going to say, for about a year or so. Something happened, when they were deceased, and I thought their children were going to take it. They did not. So now they're looking for someone to either just buy it out cash or to lease it to own. And I have some questions about that. They're not asking very much, so it's well within our ability, to purchase it. But I'm kind of skeptical. What do I need to check out before I would look at purchasing this home?
Is this for investment?
It could be, or we're thinking about, it's a corner property.
Mm-hmm.
It is larger than the home that we're living in. So I'm thinking that we could remodel and perhaps move into it ourselves. Now, our home is completely paid off.
I see.
It has been for years, so we don't have any type of mortgage or anything on our home.
Mm-hmm.
When you said that you're skeptical, tell us more about that.
Well, I did not know it. When you purchase it, what they're saying is as is.
Correct.
So, but they did say that I could go in and I could look at it. Now, we knew the residents. We have been in the home, as a matter of fact, but not for, let's say, the last 2 years or so. So I would, I just want to make sure that we can repair it. There's no foundational damage. There's no, that kind of thing. So, but what they're asking is way below market price. So,
well, two things. What probably, if you have who do you have the relationship with at this time?
Basically, no one yet. I just actually saw the sign when they put it on market.
Okay, so it is on the market.
Right.
Okay, that helps. That helps. So at this point in time, yes, you would need a realtor, and you should have a realtor. And there are a couple of things that go along with that. Yes, you say that the price of the house is way low below the market value. So, obviously that could be a good thing, but your realtor can also help steer you the right way. Definitely, you want to have a home inspection. As is usually in those kind of situations means exactly that, just simply because of the fact that it is in probate and they're not even thinking about trying to do any repairs. But what you want to do, you want to have that inspection. And does it have a basement?
I don't think so.
Okay. Yeah,
but it does have a crawl space.
Okay, that's fine. I just was mentioning the basement because obviously if it's been vacant for a while and that type of thing, but you want to have a full inspection, which would include mold, possibly radon. The crawl space obviously is an area that you've got to make sure that there's no standing water. So you may have to put in a sump pump, things of this nature. But so there's two things that you could do. And homes are going very quickly no matter what. But if you're interested in owning that particular home and knowing that, it can accelerate in price, you could actually just take a minute and just go ahead and have inspection first if you want to. That might just help make you decide how much you really want to offer for all kind of reasons, because, anything that major, affects value also. But, we're dealing with a two-edged sword here because of the fact that it is below market value. So sounds like you might be on the right path. I am a real estate consultant. I can give you my number. We can just kind of chat after the show and just kind of see exactly, look at the big picture here.
Okay. The other thing that someone mentioned, the company actually mentioned this to me. They said, well, I would want to maybe see if there are any back taxes, that type of thing. And I hadn't thought about that. Is there anything else that I need to make sure that I check into so that I'm not...
Good point. However, it's not in your name, So there's still some ownership there, by who was ever selling it. So the seller would really be responsible for any back taxes, for any liens, and that's not on you. Okay. That's not on you whatsoever, Joyce. So there's going to be a title search. Okay, so the title search will show any liens, judgments, things of this nature. Again, you can't if you're getting that home financed. All right, then the lender is going to be the first lien, of course, and they want the clear title. They're entitled to that clear title. So go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was just going to say, we're going to look at just paying cash.
That's fine. Well, that's fine.
Well, you still want the protection.
You still will have clear title.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, you still will be getting clear title.
Well, Janice, the other thing, though, if the house is listed, I thought it was the responsibility of the listing agent to determine if there were back taxes or liens, because if they've not done their homework, say she makes this offer, it's accepted. If there's not enough money there to satisfy liens, whether it's back taxes, judgments, or whatever, the deal may not even be able to come together.
And 9 times out of 10, they've already done that, or they're getting the title work even when the home was put on the market. I think she just made a comment that someone said that you might want to check
outside of the realtor.
Gotcha. Correct, Joyce?
Well, actually, it was the company. It was the company that I spoke to.
Well, that's crazy.
About
that's crazy.
That's
very crazy.
That's very crazy.
Yeah.
So give me a call. Let me give you my number, and we can get to the bottom of it. And there's other ways that I can go around it, just to kind of see what's what. So that number is 317.
Okay.
590.
Okay.
7348. Okay. And there's certain things that have to be disclosed, even if that was the concern or issue. So again, just give me a call, and we'll get some answers for you. Okay?
Thank you so much.
Thank you for calling. We appreciate it.
Great conversation.
Okay. It is a great conversation. That'll help us with other questions or concerns that might come up with somebody else. Hi, Terry. How are you this afternoon? Thanks for calling.
Hello?
Hello?
Yes.
Terry, can you turn your radio down, please?
Yeah.
Okay,
so I had a quick question. I was wanting to know on a loan, there's a PMI on it. So after the first year, can I refinance that? And if the person I'm refinancing through, could they remove that PMI?
Yes, if you have enough equity, then the PMI may be able to be removed, assuming you qualify for a conventional mortgage.
A conventional mortgage?
It would have to be conventional, yes.
Oh, okay, so it's an FHA, so...
You would be refinancing out of an FHA into a conventional. So you cannot go into an FHA mortgage without PMI under any circumstances.
Okay, so over the period of time, does that PMI, does that fall off?
It all depends. If your original if this original loan that you're under, well, let me ask you a question. When did you take out the FHA loan?
It was about a year ago.
I think that you're probably under the new rules. Because I want to say that did you put down 3.5% or did you put down 10?
It was 3.5.
Then you probably have it on for the life of the loan, and you can tell that through the document. There is a document in your closing documents. I think it's called the HUD addendum. At the top, it will tell you exactly what the dollar amount is for your mortgage insurance and how long it will last.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well,
All right.
thank you.
Good question. Thank
Very
you for
good
your
question.
question.
Yeah. I like this. This is great. This
Great
is
questions.
great. Hey, Diana, you know
Yes.
what I thought I'd do?
What would you do?
Let's just kind of talk a little bit about, let's talk to the potential buyers.
Yes.
And maybe even buyers who now own a home, but, maybe there's things maybe they wish they had thought about before they bought a home, this type of thing. And this is not in any particular order. But, when you're really talking with a customer or potential buyer, there's just certain things that you really need to know about. Have they been looking or how long they've been looking? This is not necessarily, like I said, in any order. Definitely consider how many is in your family and how many, especially when they're school age. Are you renting? You've got to know exactly when your lease is up, okay? And there's so many reasons that we can get into that would take the whole show. But, again, find out about your lease before you even make a phone call. So that might be something that, again, and just say, well, I'm buying a home. So would that change things? If I show you my purchase agreement, would that help? Those type of things,
Yes.
So always just try to find out exactly about your lease situation. And again, and that'll help too, how soon that you might need to move. And we have phone callers. I love it. This beautiful day, and you guys are listening to us, and we are going to answer you. Hi, Bobby. How are you this afternoon? Thanks for calling.
Oh, I'm doing good, and you?
We're good.
Okay, you're saying that it's a good time to buy now. What about if a person is still living in the house and they can't afford to move out until the house gets sold? What's the chances of that? How good is the buying power as far as that is concerned?
So let me just kind of walk back through this scenario.
Right.
You're saying if a person's wanting to buy a house.
No, I'm sorry, sell. If they want to sell
if they
their
want to
house,
sell the house, and they won't be able to necessarily move out until the house is sold.
correct.
Yeah, what are their chances of being able to sell their house?
Correct.
Well, that's why the other day, Bobby, when I had a similar scenario and we went to this back-to-back closing because of this and had to deal with the possession situation, that I went home and went to sleep. Because that is a very good question. And I'm going to tell you what, in this climate and in this market, you better be asking those questions. That's for sure. Well, two things. It is a seller's market. So if you really think you want to sell, I tell you what, this is a great time to do so. So what would happen is that it's not even, to be perfectly honest with you, even though you might have something in mind, Bobby, it's probably not even a good idea to start kind of looking to see what's out there, because they're not going to be out there. You know, the homes are selling so quickly. But there is a way when you do receive an offer on your home that you simply have to make sure that you are protecting yourself when it comes to the closing time, the possession time. Also, if you are trying to buy another home, then all of that has to be negotiated. Yeah, negotiated in such a way that it's given everybody enough time. Because basically, what we're saying is really like a snowball situation. So, for instance, I'm working with this customer now, and we got the offer, and no place to go. So again, we had to negotiate the time frame of finding a suitable home within a certain period of time. Okay. Right. And that is why it's also very important, you know, to understand the person who's buying your house as far as the financing, making sure your realtor is sharing with you everything that's going on with, again, because they're not in control of that other buyer buying your particular home. So if you're buying a home, then you got to make sure that, again, that your lender is involved, that everybody knows the time frame that we're really working with, because time is of the essence with all this situation. I try my best as if I'm representing the seller. I try my best not to accept an offer that says possession at closing, simply because of the fact that we know anything can, possession, did I say that right? Yeah, possession, make sure that everything can be, coordinated, because anything could possibly happen. But you just have to look at the big picture and just try to, like I said, negotiate and coordinate in such a way that you are able to get into your home. For instance, let's say the house that you're buying, Bobby, let's say it's vacant, or the people can give possession at closing for whatever reason. Well, that really helps us. Okay.
But let me ask a question. In your case, Bobby, would it be one of those situations as a seller, you would need the money from the sale of your home before you could buy another home?
No, I was just curious if the family is still living there, like on a scale from 1 to 10, how hard is it
just an occupied home.
Oh, an occupied
home. You're just asking
okay.
How hard is it to sell an occupied home? I got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's probably another good question. Pros and cons to that. If you can find another home and don't need the money, from you don't need the proceeds to buy another one, hey, I would say go for it. Because
but it's not. Is it hard to sell an occupied home?
Not necessarily. No.
Okay.
Not at all.
Okay.
Not at all.
What percentage of homes being sold are occupied, would you say?
I can't tell you that. 90%
are occupied. So no
90,
problem there, Bobby.
95%. Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
You just never know.
Right.
Okay. So we went around the mulberry bush to get
no,
to
your. I got my answer. Thank you.
Oh, thank you for calling. We appreciate it. I don't know what made you ask that question, but that's unusual.
It was a multifaceted answer, depending on the situation. Hello, Renee. Thank you for calling the Home and Finance Show. Go ahead with your question or comment.
Good afternoon, ladies. Thank you so much for hosting this show. This is very good.
Thank you.
I am calling. I purchased a condo almost 2 years ago, and I paid cash for it. And I want to get my kitchen remodeled. So now my friend, she says, well, you don't have any equity in your home because you paid cash for it. You build your equity over the period of time when you're paying into a mortgage. So do I not have equity? I said, I don't think so. I think I have 100% equity.
You do. Now, there you I love it. No, I love it. Oh, God, right now, I could just give you the biggest hug for even bringing this up, simply because for all of the people out there advising other people about their situation, thank God you got enough, whatever it is, to know that you just spent your money and paid cash. You surely have something. Yes, you do. You have 100% equity.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, you have 100% equity. You're absolutely
people
right.
People are probably used to hearing equity means the difference between the mortgage balance and the sale price or whatever. That's what they hear all the time. But you have no mortgage balance.
Yeah, so it's zero.
Right.
So the difference is, for equity, just for our listeners, so you're clear, equity is defined as the value minus what you owe. So if you have $100,000 property and you owe nothing, zero, then you have a $100,000 worth of equity. So if you have a $100,000 property and you owe $50,000 on it, you've got $50,000 worth of equity. But definitely you have equity.
I hope she's listening to this, or I can find a way to say it back.
I know that's
but
right.
Tell me I made the biggest
better.
mistake.
She told you out to dinner.
No, I love it. She told you made the biggest mistake by paying cash.
Right. By paying cash. So you should have left a few thousand out there that you had to pay.
Amazing.
Well, maybe she's not listening to the show and she can take you out to dinner. Better.
Better. Hey, better. I love Janice's idea. Better, and see what she says, and then go to Google and then go to dinner.
Okay. All right. Well, thank
Have a
you
great
all
afternoon.
so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
We appreciate you. Hi, Mayhem. How are you?
Oh gosh,
Hello?
I love it.
Hi. How are you, Mayhem?
Pretty good. I tell people all the time, when you want professional, excellent questions about real estate, call between 1 and 2. I like what you said. That's like a marriage counselor going to see a conference, a person talking about marriage that's been married 6 times. Why would you want to listen to them? Yeah. Hey, I want to ask a question. Your perspective on this. I'm hearing, and I don't know where this person got this from, but it's very disturbing, and I've been hearing it a lot. That I got a lot of relatives that live out of town, and they starting to hear bad things about the city. They said the city is number 3 worst cities to live or move to. What do you think about that? And have you heard about that? And if it's true, what I'm trying to say, what
would prompt that type of situation?
Yeah, and if that's going to stop the boom from people moving out, because there's a lot of people out of town moving down here, would that curb them to stop moving here, and would that slow down the real estate? Now take it up there. Thank you.
Okay. First of all, it's context. Everything's about context. So
exactly.
Number 3 worse. Number 3 in what? Maybe that's, I don't know. Maybe that's crime. Maybe that's jobs. I don't know. But when it comes to housing, we are one of the most affordable cities in the country. Mm-hmm. And I think we are probably in the top 15 cities in the country. And that's why we encourage people who are interested in buy, because values are going to do nothing but go up. Unless there's something unforeseen on the horizon we know nothing about. You've got this supply and demand thing going, which means there's more demand than there is supply. Anytime you have more demand than supply, that means values go up. But no, we're in the top 15
I'll
in
have
the country.
The answer for that for our next show. We've always been in the most affordable. That is for sure. Number 1. Number 2, we're in the Midwest. And I say that to say is that people are, families are actually, what's the word I want to say, going toward Midwest because it's central, because of where families are, So even if they're not living in the same city, we're smack there in the Midwest. This obviously just helps the situation, to be closer to their families. There's no ifs and buts about it, especially the baby boomers. They're retired. Okay, she Googled, so maybe
Forbes
says that we are.
Indianapolis is America's best city for renters in 2017.
Well, we don't want to tell that.
But also we are among the top for homeownership as well.
Okay.
So that's the real deal story. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. Thank you for the callers with the questions. You guys, we all learn from your questions. So as we say, no question is a dumb question.
And it helps others. It helps us.
Absolutely.
But anyway, so we were just talking about questions that buyers need to consider. Have you considered a budget for monthly payments? Have you been pre-approved? Do you have a particular location, bedrooms that you think you might need to have? What are your needs versus desires? Oh, Lord, we really get into that kind of a situation. And one of the things, too, you need to, do you have a good understanding of the costs that come along with purchasing a home? So that's why, again, when we're always talking about a team, we know that to be pre-approved, and your realtor also knows exactly what we're working with and what you're working with as far as maybe costs are involved. Are you aware about homeowners associations that might be required? Things like that you might also want to consider. Sometimes I even asked what's a deal breaker, when we're looking for a home, mainly because of the fact that everybody has their own lifestyle. Okay, so nobody knows better than you, the buyers, how this particular home and what you're looking for as far as your family's lifestyle is concerned. Is there a particular area of the house that might be your most favorite room? I can remember years ago, and people still talk about this, that everybody's always waiting in the kitchen, when you go over somebody's house. And I couldn't wait until I had a family room. Well, shoot, they're still in my kitchen. And if I'm over your house, Diana, I'm in your sunroom. But anyway, so, these kind of things. But let's just kind of talk about when we have found our home and we are ready, willing, and able to buy our home, and willing and able, or the fact you have your down payment. If you're not getting down payment assistance, you have some money to work with as far as closing costs because you have gotten pre-approved with Diana Rice Wilkerson, or maybe it's another lender. But the point of it is that, we're ready to do what we do. So that is offering on a home. Many, many, many times I have been told that buying a home is probably the largest or the biggest decision that they have ever made or will make. And they say that besides getting married, but they put the buying a home before a marriage. I would think that marriage would be the most important decision, or the biggest decision, but who knows? So, everybody's a little bit different. So first of all, let's see. Now, we want you to call in, interrupt me at any time, when you might have something to offer. But so we have found that house. So share with me. We only have X amount of time, but share with me what would be the first thing that you think that we might need to do before we actually write a purchase agreement. That's 317-239-1310. We have found that home. Let's see. In fact, I have a sheet in front of me. One of the things that I do want to say before we get started, again, on going through the purchase agreement, you should always see a copy of homes that you are going to take a look at. So, again, that's going to give you some information about the utilities, whether or not the appliances remain. One of the things that you always want to make sure that you're looking at, being aware of whether or not the house is on well or whether it's on septic, something of that nature. Things sometimes like that can slip through the crack. And, we're all human, but again, we're all in this together also. So you're going to take a look at the sales price of the house. And again, on this particular BLC, which is, it's the sheet that shares with you all of the information about the house before you make an offer. So there are certain things, again, that you need to make sure that you're aware of, okay? That's number one. Then number two, also before you go out with your realtor to take a look at a house, you do also want to make sure that you have seen a copy of the purchase agreement. It's a 7-page purchase agreement. And remember, a purchase agreement is a contract. So we just want you to kind of be aware of this. So there are things in it that you need to maybe know up front. So if you've got any questions, because when it's time to write that purchase agreement, again, in the old days, you're together, or you're getting wet, what we call wet signatures, which are real signatures. But nowadays, hey, we say, okay, this is it. I run back to my office and I start putting the purchase agreement together, and electronically you are going to sign the purchase agreement. So that's why we've all got to be on the same page and know exactly what's happening when we're getting ready to go this exciting process. And we've got Kim on the line. Hi, Kim. How are you this afternoon?
Hi, how are you doing?
We're good.
Okay. Do I need to turn my radio down?
I think you're good.
No, I think you're good.
Okay. I have a question. I've been working on my credit, and I'm trying to get it up to where I can actually purchase a home. And I don't know what that score is. I know what it used to be a couple of years ago, but I'm sure things have changed, what I'm saying. So I'm just wanting to know where my credit needs to be at for me to be able to purchase a home, and I would be a first-time home buyer.
Thank you.
Very good question. Kim, are you a veteran?
No, I am not.
Okay. So typically you need, I'm going to say for my company, which I work for Fairway, we require a minimum credit score of 600. Having said that, there is a first-time homebuyer program through the state of Indiana that offers down payment assistance that we always like to look at for first-time homebuyers, just to see if you qualify for that. Yes. Now, there's some criteria around that program in order to qualify. When it comes to your credit score, your score needs to be 660, 640 if we're going with the conventional product. So, and debt ratio needs to be under 45%, and then your income needs to be generally under 90,000. Just all depends. So, so you're looking. See, that's what I love about your question is there's no real one answer. That's what I love about your question, Because if you've got 10 mortgage companies and you're asking them the same question, what score do I need? We're probably all going to have 10 answers.
Exactly.
So that's
that's what I wanted to understand, because I have been told so many different things throughout the years, you know. So I had got my score up to about 632, and you know, I know it'll be up, you know, towards the end of the year a little more, because I've been working on it. So I'm just wanting to get, you know, an idea where I stand at. I don't know if I should be looking at for like trying to purchase something within this year, or looking more like next year, by it being, you know what I'm saying, 632. But I just want to get an idea of like what, you know what I'm saying,
Sure.
where my options are.
May I ask you a question about your credit score?
Yes, ma'am.
632. Who told you that your score was 632?
I went and did the, you know, the Credit Karma thing, where they got where they give you your score and everything. I went on there and I obtained it from there.
Okay, so this is to you and to everyone else listening. When you're in the market to buy a home and you're trying to get your credit to a certain place, you definitely want to be working with a loan officer, because we are using banks and mortgage companies use a completely different set of scorecards than what you're going to find on the internet at any site. So sometimes what happens, more times than I'd like to admit, is that because we are getting more information off the internet today, and it's considered it's legitimate, but it's not the same. So yes, that's a credit score out there on the internet. In this case, we're talking about the Credit Karma website, but that is not those are not the scorecards mortgage companies or banks use. And so when it'd be okay if the scorecards that Credit Karma was using were the same scorecards as mortgage companies or banks use, then that would be okay. But it's not. That's number one. Number two, we use the middle score. On Credit Karma, you only have access to two scores. You have access to two credit bureaus. It's TransUnion and Equifax. You don't have access to Experian. So again, in order to get the right information, you need to know all three scores and what the middle score is. And that's a universal approach for mortgage companies. So what I would say for you and anyone else out there intending to buy a house, hook up with your mortgage lender. A mortgage lender that's going to be committed to you, whether it's this year, next year, 2 years, 5 years, it doesn't matter. You want to be working with someone that's going to be committed to your success. But one of the things they will do is they should pull your credit now, all three bureaus. They should let you know what your scores are. They should be able to tell you based on their tools that they have. And if they don't have these tools, I would suggest finding somebody that does have the tools that, you know, if you do A, B, C, D, this is going to raise your score. Also, they'll be able to suggest to you if you say, hey, the maximum payment I want to pay is $1,000 or $1,500 or $400 or whatever, they'll be able to tell you what price point you'd be looking at in today's market. But they're going to be able to give you a lot more information. And then that way, you're more assured of the approach that you're taking is going to get you where you want to be. Because what happens otherwise is you'll see the score go up on your side. Then when you go to the lender will pull the credit scores and they might be 20 or 30 points less.
Gotcha.
Simply because of scorecard. Okay?
Gotcha.
Your number, Diana.
Oh, yeah. I will be happy to help you. Definitely.
Okay.
Do you have my number? 317?
No, I don't.
Okay, it's 317-402-5555.
Okay, that's very easy.
317-402-5555.
Okay, Diana. I will give you a call. Do you have time, like during, like, what are your hours during the week?
They're all kind of hours, Kim. But if you can call me, or you can go out on my website and apply. Sometimes that's easier for people. Some people don't like to do it. It's whatever works for you. But my website is www.loanswithdiana.com.
Okay. Thank you so much.
And your loans is plural.
And my loans is plural. So loanswithdiana.com. Okay?
All righty.
All right. Thank you.
That's fantastic.
It was a great question. Yes.
And you know, again, you guys have been great today. Okay, we're gonna take a break. However, what I want you to do is think about this. Now we're getting ready to write this purchase agreement, right?
Right.
Okay. All righty. And so this particular house that we're writing on, is listed for $159,900, you guys, okay? And it's got about 2,500 square feet. So it's listed for $160,000, let's say. All righty, so you want this house. Janice, I really want this house, or whoever your realtor is. I really want this house. So how do we go about this? So what I want you to do is think about what is the process of trying to find out what's the best offer to make on this particular house. So that's 317 239-1310 went completely blank. So I want you to kind of share with me what you think the best way to make the best price on this house, because we're getting ready to make an offer on it. So we'll be back
in 1 minute.
Willie Moore is bringing the energy and motivation to your afternoons.
Just in case you didn't know.
Here's what you missed on the Willie Moore Jr. show.
A Chicago Police Department is doing something that I think that all police departments should do and go even further. They are requiring new recruits in the police department to visit an African-American museum.
Okay, Crystal.
Okay,
great
so y'all
job.
not, okay.
Not at all.
All right, well, forget y'all then. I
Number
tried to
two,
be hopeful
Crystal.
and y'all
Number
just
two.
Gonna act.
Number two, Crystal.
Go ahead.
Willie Moore Jr. on your radio.
The Willie Moore Jr. Show. Weekdays from 3 to 6. Indy's source of inspiration and praise. AM 1310, The Light. Here's the inspiration you missed this morning on Get Up. Mornings with Erica Campbell.
We know in this culture and in our world today, it's all about social media. It's all about getting people told. Proverbs 12:16 says, "A fool is quick-tempered, but a wise person stays calm when insulted." You do not have to respond to everything, because you've got to open your eyes. You've got to realize that we are fighting a spiritual battle, and he wants to stop your progress. He can't stop what God already has set for you, but you will never reach it if you focus on what you say. That's not nice. Oh, who cares what they say? Keep moving forward.
Get Up. Mornings with Erica. Weekdays 6 to 9 a.m. on Indy's source for inspiration and praise. AM 1310, The Light. Did you miss the Nightly Spirit with Darlene McCoy? Check out this moment.
Tell us how good God has been to you this week.
My church's grocery store just got a machine that is valued at $67,000 for $45.
So what are y'all going to do with this machine?
Well, our church has the first nonprofit grocery store ever connected to a church in history.
Wow.
This is in Hampton, Virginia.
Wonderful. Congratulations. I'm going to tell you something. The harvest is always greater than the seed.
We've been open a year now, and we've blessed 10,000 families in a year. So,
hallelujah.
We're looking for more, and this will allow us to do more.
The Nightly Spirit with Darlene McCoy. Weeknights from 8 to 11 on Indy Source for inspiration and praise. AM 1310, The Light.
We're back. You're listening to the Home and Finance Show. We have had so much fun today. Listening audience, you've been great with some of these questions.
Yes.
And they have just been off the chart. And looks like we've got Anonymous already waiting for us. How are you this afternoon, kind sir or ma'am?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
We're great. Thank you.
Great. I really love listening to your show every Saturday.
Thank you.
Now, I have a question. With the booming housing market that we're currently in, where does a home in the 46218 area code fall into as far as selling?
And where exactly? I think I know where the 46218. Where exactly are we speaking?
That's Indianapolis, Indiana.
I understand. I'm sorry. What area?
That is, I've got it.
Okay.
46218 is 38th Street on the north and 70 on the south. It looks like
so just
Ralston on the west.
Yeah, just kind of give me a general idea where you might be or thinking about moving.
Not exactly sure where they're going to be moving. It's my parents' home.
Yes.
But they're really thinking about selling.
Okay. And again, if Diana, she is south of 38th Street, correct? It looks like it's around.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
No, yes, it's south of 38th.
South, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Right. Sounds like around the Ralston, Schofield area, around where my church is, actually. So, again, it's really going to kind of depend, to be perfectly honest with you. There are quite a few investors that are around no matter what price range, So the best thing you could do is really just call a realtor and find out what the homes are selling for, how long it's taking. To be perfectly honest with you, that's probably one of the best things to consider. Okay, because every situation is different. I mean, you're dealing with the way you come up with a price, is location, condition, that type of thing. Okay.
I think the key words that you said, though, is you're in a market where you could easily end up with a cash offer.
Exactly, with an investor.
I see.
And sometimes it just depends on the neighborhood, again, and I say the neighborhood only because of the fact that some people have grown up in that particular area, have always liked that particular area, or again, want to be close to churches, and I know that area is full of churches, that type of thing. So if you want to give me a call, my number is 317 590 7348. I'm Janice Bradley, real estate consultant.
All right.
And that would probably be the best way because, again, price, condition, and location is how we come up with a purchase price. And, again, just seeing how quickly the homes are selling. Okay?
Wonderful. Well, I'll be glad to give you a call.
And thank you for calling. We appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Okay, listening audience, we're getting ready to write a purchase agreement, and I haven't heard from anybody. 317-239-1310. Our house is listed for $160,000. It's about 2,500 square feet. So we've got a buyer or buyers that want to buy this particular home. Where do we start?
I'm going to be the buyer. I'll be the buyer. I'll start.
All righty, we've got a buyer.
So I'm going to. I'm calling you up, and I'm going to ask you, what do you think?
You're going to ask me what I think.
Yeah, I'm going to say, Janice, what do you think?
Okay.
Because the house is on the market. First of all, I'm aware that this is a hot market. I'm aware that this house is on the market for $160,000. I've seen it. Mm-hmm. I want it.
You do.
But I'm going to ask you, what would you suggest? You're the professional.
Well, when I printed this particular home off, it was on the market one day. Okay. Mm-hmm. So what we did first is that we pulled what we call comparables. Because, you got to know where you're going to and how you're going to do that by not knowing exactly what the homes have sold for. And again, you just heard me share with the young lady who just called in price, condition, and location. So the location of this particular property was in an area that what I did is chose the location of it. There was a two-story. It's a two-story home. And we wanted to see what have the homes sold for, usually within the last 4 months, 2 months. Right now, it's almost been a week. So that was one of the that's one of the helpful information. Square footage, also condition. So this particular home, as I said, was listed for $160,000. So I went to the legal description. What you do, you're looking when you're writing an offer on a particular home. You want to make sure that your comparables are you're looking at like properties. So again, this one was 2 stories. So we're not looking at what ranches have sold for, tri-level, whatever. These are all 2 stories. There were 3 bedrooms and 2.5 baths. So that gave us a pretty good idea. And again, they were all in the same location. So that was quite helpful. So in this particular situation, I believe there were 5 listings that have sold recently. So the minimum sold, the list price was $154,900, and the minimum sold price was $152,000. Maximum sold price was $169,900. The maximum sold price was $163,000. So they pretty much averaged at around $159,000. Okay, and this house is listed for $160,000. So is the value that was there? I would say it was there.
Yes,
very much so. And quite frankly, in this particular case, since I know of this particular home, by the time we got into it, it was a 0 day when we pulled it. The next day it was 1 day, and we had offers out of the wazoo. So again, we are dealing with a different kind of market, and that's one of the reasons why I'm even going through this particular process with you, because you have to I want you to be prepared mentally about what the process is going to be. So number one, you're asking me what this house, what do I think? Well, my first inclination was, it's priced right.
Well, and I think I just want to interject here too. As a professional, you're representing me as a professional. I'm not going to know anything about comparables, but this is why you want a professional.
Exactly.
So that you make a very legitimate, non-offensive offer. You don't want to go in.
It's no time to lowball. It's no time to lowball in this particular situation and other situations. I might say, just because I am representing you, I know you want the house. We want the best offer we can lay lay on the table. So we offered, in this case, $600 over. Okay, so don't be offended. If your realtor says we need to offer over. Don't be offended if you've written that particular offer and they come back maybe asking for even higher than list price. But some of the things that you have to consider when you're writing this particular offer is that, do you need closing costs? Do you need closing costs? And the reason I'm saying that, everybody being on the same page, because when you go into writing an offer, you should have an idea, again, of your down payment, how you're getting that, and of what your closing costs are. So, again, are we going to need all of the closing costs that your lender has shared with you? So let's say they say $3,000, just say $3,000. Because if you need all of your closing costs, at this point, you may have to offer over list price, okay? And sometimes that'll get it, ladies and gentlemen, and sometimes that won't. In this particular case, what we ended up doing, we offered over $600. We went for $3,000. They shared with us, hey, we've got several offers, so we had to up it. In this case, we actually said no closing costs, okay? No closing costs, just so we offered $3,000 over. This is with this particular home. It was a very, very clean offer, and we still were outbidded. Now, this was on this particular example. I'm just wanting to share with you what you're getting into in this kind of market, okay? So just be prepared mentally. Call your parents, your sisters and brothers, their kids, everybody, and just say, hey, maybe I'm going to need some help in closing costs. Just simply because of the fact that this is a new day. I'm just going to share that with you. Now, on this purchase agreement, there are areas where whoever the listing agent, whoever the representing you, and then you're putting the address of the property. And in that information, besides the address of the property, it also talks about any permanent and existing permanent improvements and fixtures that are attached to the house. So anything that's not necessarily attached, you don't want to maybe just always ask for anything that's not necessarily attached. But my whole point, because it does talk about all the things that could be attached, which would be your built-in equipment, sump pumps, water softeners, gas grills. We're talking about attached, you guys, not the ones that walk by themselves, okay? Gas logs, curtain rods, things that are attached. Seriously, I'm just sharing with you. Towel racks and bars. When I first got into the business, I couldn't believe that that's what they said, but they said years ago, people were taking everything. Every single thing. Well, that never happened. Storm doors, windows, awnings, TV antennas. You think, it's got this in here, so it's pretty much protected. But you need to be specific about what stays in the house. And do not go by this. You have a seller's disclosure sheet that you're going to get. And again, we're not going to have enough time to go into every single thing. But when the purchase agreement is a contract, remember that. So I say is that write it down exactly with window coverings on the sheet that comes from the board of realtors. It shares with you from the very beginning what's going to remain with the property. Okay, so that's just the sheet that you've got.
Right.
That's not the contract.
Right.
The contract is this purchase agreement.
Right.
So because a person could have made a mistake here because that's just life, So the key is to making sure that you're specific about what you want to remain in the house. Now, if there's something that you want to remain in the house and they might want a value on it or what have you, that does not go on the purchase agreement. Because the lenders don't want to see that.
We don't want to see that.
So anyway, that's
no boats,
another
no
thing.
motorcycles. We
Please don't
want to
ask for the motorcycle. Okay.
No
All
treadmills.
Right.
We don't.
So I'm just saying Pacific. Remember, this is a contract. You need to be very specific about what stays in the house. Then we're going to come to the terms of the agreement, which is the purchase price. So we've determined on a purchase price, and we've put that purchase price in that particular space. Now, your earnest money is going to be something that. Oh wait, okay. You know what? I tell you what, we're going to do this another time. But I guess I want you guys just to know that, really understand a couple of things. A, when you write a purchase agreement, there's three things that can happen. They can accept it. Wouldn't that be great? Or they could counter it, which means they're coming back at you with renegotiating. You can do the same thing. Or three, they can reject it. We're going to go over this another time also because, again, there are so many aspects to this purchase agreement that goes on that can affect your whole process of your loan. And
can we get an amen?
I knew she was going to say
can
amen.
I get an amen?
And you know what? We're going to wind this up. We have been so excited this afternoon. You guys just really help us get excited over this because we love what we do. Yes. We love answering your questions, and we love finding out for you things that we may not know. But it's on with, I guess, the other music, huh? They're telling us it's time for us to go. I'm Janice Bradley with JB Real Estate Consultant. I can handle all of your real estate needs. My number is 317-590-7348. And Diana?
My name's Diana Rice Wilkerson. I'm your loan originator. So you would call me if you're wanting to buy, refinance, or build a new home.
New construction.
Be sure and call me so I can get you pre-approved. My number is 317-402-5555, 317-402-5555. My website is www.loanswithdiana.com. Home and Finance Show, www.homeandfinanceshow.com is our home and finance website. We would love for you to visit that website and also check us out on Facebook.
Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
You've been listening to Home and Finance with your hosts, Diana Rice Wilkerson and Janice Bradley. For more straight talk about financing a home and insider information about buying a home, listen next Saturday at 1 p.m. or call 402-5555. That's 402-5555.
The proceeding was a paid program.